Today on the Comic Book Report, we'll be doing an unboxing and quick overview for the recently released Silver Surfer Return to the Spaceways Omnibus from Marvel Comics. Stick around and check it out. Greetings from the Spaceways, everyone. My name is Dominic, and today you're tuning in to the Comic Book Report, where we review comic books and graphic novels so you can get an idea of what to read. And today, yes, we will be unboxing this beauty right here. This is one of my most anticipated releases for 2025, and I am ecstatic to finally have it in the collection. This is the Silver Surfer Return to the Spaceways Omnibus, and wow, I just cannot believe it's finally here. Before we jump into the unboxing, I'd just like to shout out the channel sponsor, OrganicPriceBooks.com. If you're looking to pick up your own comic book collected editions, perhaps even this very omnibus, I encourage you to check out their website. You can find a link to them in this video's description, and if you see anything on the site you like, you can even use my discount code at checkout, TheComicBookReport, to save $2 off of your order. Please note if you use my affiliate link or code to make a purchase, I will earn a small commission, but it's still the best way to support this channel. Thank you so much for considering. Now let's get unboxing. Okay, and here is my box. This did come from OrganicPriceBooks.com. I did get this pre-ordered for my birthday, so this was a belated birthday present, and again, I was just ecstatic to get this in the mail. And as I start getting the book out here, I just wanted to talk about the contents of this omnibus real quick. So this omnibus collects Silver Surfer from 1982, issue 1, Silver Surfer, the 1987 series, issues 1 through 33, the Silver Surfer Annual 1 and 2, Marvel graphic novel Silver Surfer, Silver Surfer from 1988, issues 1 and 2, Silver Surfer The Enslavers, Fantastic Four, issue 325, Supervillain Classics, issue 1, and material from Epic Illustrated issue 1, Marvel Comics Presents issue 1, and Marvel Fanfare issue 51. The book comes in at an incredible 1,360 pages. It's an oversized edition with glossy print paper stock and a sewn binding, which you'll see in a moment. And wow, yeah, this one is an absolute beaut. And as I liberate it from the plastic cling wrap, I cannot believe it's finally here. I will stretch out the pages, just do a quick flip through, and then we'll inspect the book further. I will say a majority, if not all, of the contents of today's omnibus I did have in Epic Collections before upgrading to this format. I was a really big fan, or still am a really big fan of the Silver Surfer, but one of the best ways to collect him thus far has been in those paperback Epic Collection editions, but I'm really hoping that this sells well enough that we get more sequential releases for the Silver Surfer. For those that don't know, they did release a Silver Surfer Volume 1 omnibus. This is basically the Volume 2, collecting the subsequent solo adventures for our favorite Sentinel of the Spaceways. I think that they have the kind of title, moniker, or subtitle rather, Return to the Spaceways as kind of a selling point, as I'm assuming that's going to sell better, at least on paper, than a Volume 2. But rest assured, collectors out there, if you are curious, you can treat this as the Silver Surfer Omnibus Volume 2, which is lovely. And speaking of lovely, of course, this is the front dust jacket cover for this omnibus. I should say this is the standard edition. I'll throw up a quick thumbnail of the direct market, which I believe is a Jim Lee art cover. And while that direct market cover looks striking, I was never going to pass on this standard edition. I just think that this is breathtaking. And looking at the spine design here, as you can tell, this is a massive omnibus. I love that we have the stylized Silver Surfer title. We do have that subtitle, Return to the Spaceways, along with a handful of the creators here, and an image of the surfer on board at the bottom of the omnibus. I do believe for the direct market, you might have a different image on the bottom of the spine as well, in addition to that front dust jacket cover. Everything else between the editions, I believe, should be identical. On the back of our dust jacket, we do have a nice showcasing of the thumbnailed covers of the issues included in this omnibus. Always love to see this. I think it's more common with Silver and Bronze Age omnibuses. I was certainly happy to have it here. The fact that we also have some bonus art of the Surfer, a great little title, The Silver Surfer Soars Again. We have a blurb, what's collected, the age rating, pricing information, publisher, all kind of standard fare along the back. I think that this is a very well-designed dust jacket. Okay, and speaking of that dust jacket, let's spend one final moment examining the exteriors here. To do that, I'm going to go ahead and remove the dust jacket. This time I'll show you those interior flaps as well, and then I'll go ahead and spread everything out so you can see the full dust jacket at a glance. Again, this is the standard edition dust jacket cover. Direct Market will again have a different front dust jacket cover and possibly bottom of the spine image. But yeah, I really like the layout here. The interior flaps look great as well. Transitioning to the hardback book, though, I wanted to show you the art we have stamped on the board of the hardback book, and this was a really great choice. We do have a wraparound image, no text, no labels, nothing like that. We just have a full-on image of the Silver Surfer finally free to explore space yet again. More on that probably in the overview, but yes, this is his return to the Spaceways, and I love seeing this on the actual hardback. I think that they nailed it with this. Absolutely hit it out of the park. Okay, and now that we've finished our look at the exterior, I did want to spend a moment examining that sewn binding I mentioned earlier in the video. I always like to give prospective collectors out there a quick look at the binding. So as you can see, not much of an eye on this omnibus yet, but I haven't done my full read through, so I'm hoping the spine relaxes a bit more. I'm happy to say though that during this time we do have some white borders around a lot of these issues, so I do think gutter loss will be fairly minimal throughout my read. And now, just for fun, I thought I'd show this omnibus next to the two other released Silver Surfer Omnibus editions. As far as I know, there's only been 3 omnibuses for Silver Surfer released, not including his appearances in things like Fantastic Four, event omnibuses, and so on and so on. We have, of course, the Silver Surfer Volume 1, which includes that solo series by Stan Lee. We have this Return to the Spaceways Omnibus, which, like I said, can be considered a Volume 2. And then, of course, we have the incredible Silver Surfer by Dan Slott and Michael and Laura Allred. All of these are so much fun. I'm really happy to see Silver Surfer get some more omnibuses. I would love even more, so let's go ahead and pick up more of these volumes because I would love to continue on in this run. And speaking of great stuff, let's go ahead and finally break into the omnibus itself. After our end pages, we have a nice title page. Then we have the full kind of creative breakdown page with some publication information. After that, I am happy to say we have a full numbered table of contents. And I'll admit, I always love seeing this. I know with more modern Marvel omnibuses, this isn't always common, but this is right in that zone going in the 80s that I was hoping for a table of contents, and here we go. The first issue in this collection, I believe, is from the issue 1 from that 80s series written by Stan Lee. We have some gorgeous artwork there. Shortly afterward, though, we do eventually get into the main, I think it's volume 3 of Silver Surfer. Don't let that confuse you, but the third issue 1 of a Silver Surfer solo series, and that's where we really pick off. We have the first 33 issues of that, along with a lot of mix and matched odds and end kind of one-shots or tie-ins or little specials, but that main run is where it really begins to kick off. And I don't even think I've mentioned it yet. As far as creators go for this run, or for this omnibus, I should say, we have some greats like Steve Englehart, Stan Lee, Marshall Rogers, Ron Lim, John Buscema, and even Mobius. A lot of really talented, heavy-hitter creators, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. Of course, Steve Englehart has the majority of the written creative credit throughout this run, and for my money, it actually might be my favorite Englehart written series that I have read, although I really am a fan of him in general. If you have more Steve Englehart recommendations, I'm always open. So anyway, as we go ahead and make our way through this omnibus, like I said, I'm going to do kind of a bird's eye flip through. I'm going to try really hard not to do any spoilers other than some imagery you might see across this omnibus. I'm not going to speak at length about story content, just give you kind of a general impression of what's going on with the Silver Surfer in the pages of this book, just to kind of set the stage. If you would be interested in a full kind of spoiler-filled review where I go over plot bits, my feelings on a lot of it, let me know. I can do that when I complete this omnibus, or I could try to on the channel. But yeah, for the sake of this video, this is an unboxing and an overview to give you kind of general first impressions, build of the book, and just kind of a feel for what you can expect, so you can decide if this is a run you want to pick up in this format, digital, single issues, or epic collection, or whatever you like, just to give you an idea of if this is for you or not. So let me go ahead and lay the groundwork. If you are new to Silver Surfer, you might be asking, can I just pick this up, or do I need to read more extensively from before this? Do I need to pick up the Volume 1 omnibus? Do I need to track down some of the early appearances in Fantastic Four? Can I just start with this? I'll say first and foremost, yes, if this is your first Silver Surfer title, can you pick this up and enjoy it, knowing basically nothing about this character? I am going to say a definitive yes, you can, because there are a couple instances in this volume where we do get flashbacks or retellings of his origin, of his history, of his past, and even in the beginning, you have enough to be caught up as to what's going on with this character. So if this omnibus looks great to you, or it's the only one in print, or you can get your hands on, I do think it's accessible to really any kind of degree of reading here, whether you're new or a longtime fan of the Surfer. As far as when this is positioned, again, this is the beginning of kind of the 80s Silver Surfer, so we do have a lot that came before. You know, we had his first appearances in the pages of the Silver Surfer with the incredible Coming of Galactus story. We also have several instances of him showing up in Fantastic Four after that point, in some other series or crossovers or things like that in Marvel Comics. That is where we got the introduction of Silver Surfer. We got to know a little bit about him, where he came from, how he became the herald to Galactus, and all of that. After that, we did get the solo series by Stan Lee, which is collected in that first volume omnibus, which, if I'm not mistaken, was recently reprinted as well. That's a really fun series. I think Stan Lee even said that the Silver Surfer is among, if not his favorite Marvel character he had a chance to do. In that series, Silver Surfer is essentially landlocked on Earth, which for someone who spans the universe can be feeling like his own kind of prison. And that's why this Volume 2, or Return to the Spaceways Omnibus, is so important. This is an era where Silver Surfer takes to space yet again. He's able to break through the barrier that Galactus imposed, and he's able to span the stars. And while there are some misadventures on Earth, I believe, in this collection, if I'm not mistaken, the majority of the work has him on kind of intergalactic adventures. So if you're a fan of kind of space set science fiction epics with a lot of action, this might be right up your alley. I believe I mentioned it, but I first encountered a lot of these issues in the Epic collection. I think it was Volume 3, Freedom, if I'm not mistaken, takes place at the first half of this omnibus. Then you can have the Volume 4 Epic collection. And I believe that those two omnibuses contain the majority of the storytelling here, if not all of it. But I loved it. I loved Epic Collection Freedom, and I was maybe quarter-ish through Volume 4, so that's about where I'm picking up in this omnibus. I think it's only like 400 or 500 pages into this book, but I'm really digging it. I'm really enjoying going back to this material. I have been reading through this book a little bit this week since I've gotten it, and I just really enjoy it. Like I said, this is still kind of earlier era Silver Surfer stories, but they really work for me. I think that while they're a little bit dated, they still feel surprisingly modern. I think the fact that you're not mostly in New York crime fighting, you do have some uniqueness for a Marvel title. While he is a Marvel hero of sorts, you do have just a different feel of that genre. You do feel like you're just in kind of a heavy science fiction space fantasy adventure, and I really did like it for that. Having appearances by some mainstays in the Silver Surfer canon, like Shala Ball, Galactus, Nova, some history or flashbacks of him as Norrin Radd, and so much more, this book is just packed to the brim. And I haven't even completed all of the issues personally. Like I said, I'm still actively reading this material, and I'm really enjoying going back to some of these early stories and going further in adventures I never had the opportunity to finish out. We have some notable appearances by some other Marvel greats, like of course the Fantastic Four, who are so linked to the Silver Surfer. But in general, why I like the Silver Surfer, I think he's such a unique character. He does bridge a gap between cosmic Marvel and kind of more grounded Earth-based Marvel in a way that I think is fascinating. I love his history. He is such a tragic character, an inherently tragic character. He's deeply philosophical and often brooding. We have him reflecting a lot on the nature of life and existence and all sorts of things like that. I even just like the concepts that this franchise often plays with, and we get to see a lot of things on display even in this earlier era Surfer. Toward the back of the omnibus, we have that incredible story from Mobius. We have his amazing art, which you just saw a moment ago. And then I think we have another one-shot or graphic novel thing rounding out the story portions of this omnibus. After that, I am happy to say we have a breathtaking handful of extras, which I always love to see. We have some written work, little essays, blurbs, cover art, kind of production images, things like that. Like I mentioned, overall, I am really happy with the amount of extras we got. I was kind of selfishly hoping that this would be loaded with extras, and I was not disappointed. I think with an omnibus like this, you're never really sure what you're going to get, but again, really happy to report what we did get included. This is a monster of an omnibus at almost 1,400 pages. It's definitely a big boy, but like I said, beautiful. I'm so happy Marvel released this. I know I've even been speaking since I posted little graphics of this collection already on my social media. So many people just love the Silver Surfer. For many like myself, this was one of, if not their most anticipated release of the year. I'm really hoping that's a market indicator and that this sells great. I would love to see this get so many sales that they greenlight effectively a volume 3 as soon as possible. You know, I'd love to keep this run going. I'd love to get through the kind of the Infinity Gauntlet era, just because there's so much incredible storytelling for Silver Surfer in this unbroken run, and I love it. You know, even as the creators change hands, I just think that there's so much to explore with this character, such a devoted fan base, and I really hope we turn up for this release and subsequent Silver Surfer releases. And as we finish that quick overview, again, this has been the Silver Surfer Return to the Spaceways Omnibus, one of easily my most anticipated releases for all of 2025. I'm so thankful for my family for pre-ordering this for me for my birthday, a huge gift, one I am so thankful to receive. Let me know in the comments, do you plan on picking up Silver Surfer Return to the Spaceways? Have you already picked it up? Have you picked up these issues in other editions or single issues? Are you a fan of Surfer? Let me know all of that in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching this unboxing overview. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments, and until next time, this has been the Comic Book Report. Please don't forget to leave your like, those comments we talked about, and maybe share this video with a friend. Thanks everyone, bye.